it's Ikas here. I thought I'd do something a bit different since the generation is ending now. I thought I'd just do an overview of basically my top 10. I think I might have 11 here. Favorite teams that I've been playing with this generation since we got less than a month now until Sword and Shield. I'll put all these teams in a poke paste down below if people want to play with them or whatnot. But I just thought it would be something that's interesting and cool to do. Some of these teams are pretty competitive. Other teams, less so. I'd say maybe 2 or 3 of them are really, really good. Some of them are I'm kind of known for liking memeier stuff, I should say. So some of these are not as good. Anyways, I think I'll just start at the bottom. So this is I've used this a few times on ladder. I used it in tour once. I kind of against Jamal recently. Did end up losing that series, but it wasn't necessarily the team's fault. I could have played a lot better, and I think there was a bit of luck involved as well. But this is a Mantine Como Steelix core, not a core that you typically see that often. It relies on just the natural bulk of both Steelix and Mantine on the physical and special side. Being able to wall Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele, Mimikyu with Mantine and Steelix combined allows Como to set up its Como in Z and sweep games easier. Then you have Mega Manectric, which is there for the matchup specifically against stuff that this team really can't deal with very well. For example, Superior, Mega Metagross. If you're if it's like a Mega Metagross Feeny core, then this can be an issue. Volcarona's got the Lumberry. You can play some nice mind games with Hippowdon or Breloom, which otherwise can annoy this team. You can Volt Switch maybe into Volcarona. That's just one example. You can lead Volcarona against some of these teams, and then Sash Mimikyu is a secondary Mimikyu check. The irony is the Mimikyu is so strong that Mimikyu can be used to check Mimikyu. If your Sash is intact, you're always going to win that 1v1, and this is Jolly, so you got speed. So that's that team there. Then we got Snorlax Cloister Memes. At the time, it wasn't. It was pretty uncommon to see Snorlax. Still uncommon to see Cloister. They were around the 60th in usage. And I made this team specifically to just because I like the trio of Mega Metagross, Landorus Variant form, and Tapu Fini, and just wanted to then put on 3 threats on top of this. Each one gives this team a different dimension and is for specific matchups. So this Taunt Tapu Fini is here to break down Fat. All of this is just to break down opposing Fat, so that these mons can go in stuff like Porygon 2, opposing Tapu Fini, etc. Celesteela. This team does have problems. I built it in probably season 9 or 10, where double steel compositions weren't quite as common. So if you see something like Fairthorn, Heatran, Mence, this team can have big problems with it, although Snorlax Snorlax and Tapu Fini can put pressure on those teams. But that's just an example, and obviously Mega Metagross can put this pressure on as well. Maybe if I was to change this nowadays, I'd probably change the movesets of some of these mons. Maybe I'd make Tapu Fini, instead of Taunt Nature's Madness, which it is, and make it fast, Calm Mind, 3 attacks, and then rely on Landorus and Snorlax and maybe like Explosion Cloyster to break through Porygon 2. But yeah, that's something that I'd have to think about. Anyways, this team was very successful for me. I got to 1600 on the ladder with this team. Played with it in BSPL, won using this team. Basically, Snorlax and Cloyster absolutely destroyed my opponent's team. Then we got Gorbis Rain. Now Gorbis Rain, it's not, I'd say it's not as solid as these two teams, but it has a surprise factor, and people don't know how to play well against, especially if they're not particularly like knowledgeable players. They don't know what these mons do and what strategies can be involved. Like for example, Sylph Valley and Gorbis are two things like that people like stress over in team preview. So this like you're like smash pass, like the point of this team, and people really mess it up when it comes to previews. Actually, generally you want to lead Nagana, like there's like multiple matchups. So there's the Naganadel Politoed Gorbis core, where you lead off with Naganadel and you chip people down into Gorbis range. And you can sweep through teams with Rain essentially. Then you have Politoed plus Gengar, basically Perish Trap. Then you can protect a Jack Button, Politoed back into Gengar and protect again, and then you get another Perish Song or a Destiny Bond or something like that they have to worry about. So you can kill 2 Pokemon with these, and then you have Lastmon Gorbis or Lastmon Naganadel, and then lastly Sylph Valley is there. Like the sash is good. Tailwind basically means that you're always going to be faster than your opponent, even if they like Dragon Dance, like stuff like most of these Pokemon will be faster. Like Gorbis under Rain will be so fast with Dragon Dance, even if you like Dragon Dance Mega Salamence, so you'll be able to revenge kill it with Ice Beam and then just sweep the opponent's team. And this team's just really cool, really just cool looking, and it's surprisingly effective. I've beaten many people who are like considered decent and have gone to semi-finals or finals of tours with this team pretty consistently. Then we have Megazam Semi-Store. I'm actually a fan of, well, I won't call it Store, but it's only Store because it has Chansey and Skarmory on. But this team is really good against certain people. So I like to use it like basically people want to bring like Blast Pass or Hyper Offense. This team generally just destroys those people. And then it has some decent stall breaking as well, stuff that really annoys stallier builds, like this sub Horn Drill Nidoking. I was considering making this sash, but or life orb, but this allows you to break through, or like have the chance to break through stuff like Porygon 2 if you need to, whilst threatening stuff like Gliscorp, Toxapex. Yeah, but you know what these two mons in the middle do. Just great at telling people who think that they can beat you to fuck off. Essentially, you have the best special wall and one of the best physical walls in the game. Incineroar, like this team was one of my introductions to Incineroar. I played with it a few times before, but using Incineroar as a Charizard, and to a lesser extent Torn Tapu Lele check, or Spec Psyshock check, it's really good. And then Mega Alakazam, just the traceability is fantastic, and people really sleep on this mon. Without priority, you're gonna have a bad time. It doesn't die to Mimikyu's Shadow Sneak either, so if Mimikyu's Disguise is down, you're just gonna die to a Psychic, or a Shadow Ball for that matter. Yeah, mon is so strong, it neuters Mega Blaziken, which otherwise would be kind of annoying to this team. And obviously it's great against stuff like Heatran, where you can just switch into to Flash Fire, or switch into you can lead it up against Mega Salamence or Landorus Fairy and get the Intimidate off, even if they're Scarf. So yeah, this team's just generally great. And then you have like Taunt Nature's Madness for opposing Fat with Brine. Set's underrated, and Brine does base 130 power if you're under half health. Then we've got like a really unserious team. The Moody Boys. This is what people know me for. These 6 months actually, Glalie set has changed slightly. So generally you're running this instead of what people used to run, or it might be 28 defense, 12 special attack. I can't remember exactly what this does as opposed to. I mean, this is for the download boost. It can matter sometimes, so generally Porygon 2 is pretty free setup if it's not, not like, I don't know, faster under Trick Room or something like that. The special attack just allows you to do a bit more damage, I think, and it's not really necessary for you to have all this, because that will lead to a bit more damage, like plus 5, plus 6. Essentially, anyways, I'm getting off topic. The whole point of this team is you lead off with Smeargle at the bottom, and these can be anything. Snarl is specific. I like to use it for. I like Icy Wind over Snarl, but Snarl can work if they're leading something and trying to set up, because you can kind of just mess people over. Spore is an option. What else is an option? Icy Wind is an option. Makes Specs Tapu Koko slower than you, and stops Salamence from DDing. What else is an option? Snatch, also another option, as well as because you can I'm trying to look at. There's so many options that you can put on um, Smeagol, and Smeagol is really your main way of breaking through most teams. So yeah, knock can sometimes be another option as well. Um, so yeah, or shell. You can do shell smash, moongeist beam if you're feeling like super memey. I roar is another option as well if you think you're gonna just be setting up. Or you can do grain baton pass versus Hippowdon. There's so many options for this team that it's just underrated. Like yeah, snatch is a good one, but yeah, essentially and strength sap can be another one if you haven't broken your focus sash. Essentially, you lead with Smeagol every game, and then you bring most games you bring Glalie and Octillery are the best two, and then sometimes Bibarel can be useful. I like 50% Barrier over Bright Powder. I think just given although this has Bright Powder on, 50% Barrier can come in useful, and then you have like 2 more mons for the memes, Snow Run, this sub swagger, and then you have Super Fang Bidoof. I basically never bring these mons. Then we have Vivillon offense. Vivillon offense, it's Mega Kangaskhan offense, really. I don't know what you call it, but it's got Vivillon on. Basically, what we got, Icy Wind with Mega Gengar, or you to the point where you can get Vivillon in, you click Sleep Powder over their slowed Pokemon, and you just start fucking them up with Quiver Dance Vivillon. This is a less good team now because of the Tapu Fini and Steels being everywhere. Stuff like Heatran really dicks over this team, even though it has a Kangaskhan on. Like you can just play around Kangaskhan and Gran quite easily. Greninja is great just as a lead that never loses human momentum ever. Except against Volt Switch, Tapu Koko. But this team has a lot of things that set up on Tapu Koko or really pressing it heavily. So, that's why you have the Volcarona plus the Vivillon, because these two kind of take advantage of, or at least Volcarona takes advantage of the stuff that Vivillon hates. Yeah. So yeah, we got this team. That's a pretty good team. I used that during BSS LT, the ladder tournament, and qualified using this and a few other teams. I used the Snorlax, Cloyster one. I used this Blast Pass up here. Not a lot of them was, I didn't use them seriously. Then we've got this team that I've been using recently. The low pony offense with Lantern. This was highly ranked in season 15, which I haven't put up onto the site merely because at that time it was during or just before BSPL. I wanted to save those teams to play in BSPL, but never ended up using any of them, and then never bothered posting the teams. This team is just really good. Very solid low pony offense. It actually solves some of the problems that low pony offense has very well. I like Lantern is very underrated as a Pokemon, especially as a Thunderous Fairy Informed check. this mon consistently dicks on Thunderous T and Circuitry. Circuitry is a problem for this team if you have Z Hypnosis. Yeah, even if you switch into your Gliscor, you're gonna die to HPIs. Is that, you know, you have Heatran as well, I guess, but if you Hypnosis this, then you're gonna set up for free, and it's Circuitry is just about tank enough to take a move from Heatran. But yeah, this team's just very solid. No heavy slam Celesteela specifically for Mega Salamence. This Mon Celesteela right here is the reason Mega Salamence isn't as good as it was. I believe so anyways. This Mon just absolutely, Salamence absolutely hates this Mon. Even if you're running Fire Blast or Flamethrower, it doesn't even 2-hit KO, and you just Leech Seed. And when you've killed Salamence, you've done your job for this team, because this team can't, you know, this team doesn't like Salamence otherwise. And yeah, and you can even Leech Protect on Heatran and all of that. Just very solid team. Low pony offense becoming more and more common. This just has some good checks and stuff like Charizard, Tapu Fini, with Lantern, stuff that typically and it has a decent Landorus check in both Gliscor and Celesteela, stuff that typically annoys these teams. So I think this is the 8th team. Mono Poison. This team, don't be mistaken by its monotype. This team is a terror and can win tournament games versus, I believe this team can win tournament games versus people with their legit try-hard teams, with like Salamence, AG, Coco or something like that. This team does struggle with a few things, so but it has some nice techs that that will alleviate that. I mean, Mega Gengar's just broken. You have the SD Waterium Z Scolipede. People often don't expect this set, even though they should on this build, because there's no real baton pass recipient. But you know, people are dumb. This SD just can sweep teams. Like Aquatail, like after an SD is doing, see Aquatail is doing tons to is knocking out Hippowdon, and then you like there, and generally they don't yawn turn 1 because they go, oh, he's just gonna protect, or so I'll get up Stealth Rock, and then when he tries to baton pass or do whatever he does, then I'm gonna put up then I'm gonna whirlwind them out. Sash Tentacruel secretly just to go. Icy Wind means your opponent's never getting any momentum whatsoever. You know, Dicks on Landorus T. What more can I say for this Mon? Super underrated, has a great special stat, and then you have the Curse Minimize, Recycle Muck. This thing can just be a terror. And Scarf Naga, I don't use this too often, but people are scared of Z Draco Naga, so sometimes this can like bring things that this can force things that this team deals with quite well, like Heatran onto the field. Like the rest of this team, other than Among Us, deals decently with Tran. So you know, it has some good baits, good techs. So this team definitely can do well in tournament play. This is the first team I ever built. Well, it was not the first team I ever built, but this is the first team I ever used. I used this in, well, I used this in the ladder tour last year, so this team is a bit outdated. There's some cool things on here, some things I've changed. So I'd probably like Scarf Tapu is pretty cool. I changed the Suicune to be more offensive, so Icy Wind into Waterium Z, Chaos Mimikyu. This set was somewhat ripped off of Chemcoop's set when, though I changed the EV spreads a bit, when I first was playing, I was quite influenced by Coco Ag Men's cores. I made this core to kind of deal with those cores, which were very popular at the time. And then this Coco, just, it's supposed to be fast shit like Porygon 2, Celesteela, what's it called? Celesteela and Tapu Fini. So this can actually consistently beat a lot of those things, especially like these bulky teams nowadays would really struggle with this, because look, Toxic destroys Snorlax, destroys Porygon 2, and then you could taunt Roost spam, so they can't even recover.
Give me 5 or so.
Sorry, just talking to me housemate there. I'll just go through these last two teams quickly. This was another team I used. This one's actually from Novaka. This team, what made it really good was how fat it was, which is something that nowadays you don't see. You see fat teams all the time, but this was like really just unnecessarily fat back in the day. And I mean, it has some weird sets like defensive Gyarados, as well as defensive Zapdos. This team just didn't lose to Mega Salamence at all, and just had Venusaur. I mean, there are some things here that are weird, like there's no fire move on this Volcarona, which makes it kind of finicky to use. I know it's meant to go to break through stuff like Toxapex, and then you got Sword Swarm, this breaks through Tyranitar, another mon this team hates, although it has a Venusaur and a Scizor. What if you can't switch it into like Fire Punch or something? And then last but not least, I'm going through these really quickly. One of my favorite teams had many a good game with this team. My favorite Blast Pass. This one, just a typical Blast Pass. You lead Blaziken 95% of the time. If you don't, you can lead Empoleon sometimes, and this will do decent against like Hippowdon lead, or if you're really scared of like Greninja lead, you can start messing things up with this team this lead where you basically will pull shit like Gren, just get up your yawns, your Stealth Rock. Yeah, you blast pass into these. The Gorgeist, this is the go of the team. Fast, meant to beat Greninja 1v1, as well as some other stuff that it can really annoy, like Kangaskhan. This Pokemon can beat pretty consistently 1v1 with like after Will-O-Wisp, Kangaskhan's Ice Punch or Fire Punch doesn't even break sub. And you just leech back and you start annoying the fuck out of them. And you have Ancient Power Zapdos. Just a really good team. Anyways, I thought I'd go through these teams. These are just some of my favorites, and I'm gonna put them all in the description. So if you guys want to use them, feel free to. That's it. Peace.